Students, हम लोगों ने बात की about the Ethernet networks. Students, there are some other wired networks as well that we will touch upon, starting from this particular discussion. But you need to know that in the case of wired local area networks or wired LANs, the most commonly used technology is still Ethernet. Students, there are two other types of networks that we need to touch upon. The first one is called access networks. In the case of access networks, these are the networks that connect a small local area network to an ISP. It can be a small local area network, or it can even be your own one single user using a computer at home. Students, then you've got the wide area networks, which are the wide networks that are used to transfer the data over long distances. Students, discussion start करेंगे अपनी with the kind of a network that is probably the most familiar to all of us, and that is our telephone network. Students, the telephone networks, they started in in late 1800s, and in the case of early telephone networks, which were also called as POTS or plain old telephone service, the system was analog and the signal that it carried over the medium was also analog. So plain old telephone service that started in late 1800s and early 1900s, they were all analog from a system perspective and also from a perspective of the signal that they carried. Students, with the advent of computer era, the networks in the current century or in the later phases, they started carrying data as well. And students, with the technical advancements, the telephone networks that we have today, they are capable of carrying both the analog and the digital signals on them. Students, कुछ बात करेंगे about the different components of a telephone system. There are three major components that we normally find in a telephone system. The first one is called a local loop. The second one is called a trunk. And then you have got switching office. Students, there are multiple types of switching offices, and we'll discuss each one of them. But the three main types for now are end offices, you've got the tandem offices, and then you've got regional offices. The difference is in the geography of their coverage area, basically. Students, on this slide, you can see the three major components of a telephone network. These three components are local loop, as I told you. Then you've got the trunks. And then you've got the switching offices. So you've got three different types of switching offices as presented in this particular figure. You've got end offices, you've got tandem offices, and then you've got the regional offices as well. Students, the first one is local loops. So this is nothing but a twisted pair cable that connects the subscriber to the end office. So this last mile or the local loop that connects your subscriber, that connects your telephone set to the end office is called this local loop. It's the nearest end office or your local central office. Students, when it's used for voice, it's got a bandwidth of 4 kilohertz. And you must be familiar with this 4 kilohertz bandwidth for an analog voice signal by now. Students, when you look at the number for each local loop, then you will know that in the case of local loop, the first 3 digits of this local loop identifier, they represent the particular office that this local loop is connected to, and the next 4 digits, they define the exact local loop number. Students, trunks are nothing but our transmission media. You have gone through a detailed discussion about the transmission media, but trunks are nothing but the same transmission media, and they handle the communication between different switching offices. Students, one trunk normally handles hundreds and thousands of connections using the process that we discussed in the past, and this process is called multiplexing. So students, in this case, the transmission media that we normally use these days is either optical fiber, or you'll see that we also use the satellite links. Students, lastly, we've got switching offices. So we cannot afford to have a permanent connection between two subscribers who want to communicate. So what we do is, the telephone companies, they have got these switches, the digital switches that are located in these switching offices. Now students, every single switch, it actually connects multiple local loops or trunks, and therefore it allows a connection between different subscribers.